Have you ever been out to eat and just got way too much food? My fellow Toastmasters, the one time that has ever happened to me, I was not the one ordering. Last summer, my wife and I took a weekend trip up to New York. We wanted to catch a show, we were going to see some friends in the area, and we really wanted a nice fine dining experience in the city. In particular, my wife wanted to try out a popular new Indian restaurant called Dhamaka. Dhamaka is Hindi for explosion. In the context of a restaurant, it would be the explosion of flavors on your taste buds. Dhamaka is an interesting kind of restaurant. It's not typical restaurant food. It's it's like a homemade style of food, but elevated. It's what you would get going to your parents' house, what you might get your relative's house in India. It's it reminds Indians of home, and it gives non-Indian people a sense of unapologetic authenticity. It was very difficult to get a reservation at this place. My wife Upma had to call her friend Sonia, who's a food writer in New York, and asked, did she have an inn? And so our friend got a reservation for the three of us, a reservation for 4:45 on a Friday night. My wife and I were a little worried. Okay, it's an early dinner. Are we going to be okay the rest of the evening? Are we going to want something else a little bit later? Folks, that was not a problem that night. We got to the restaurant a few minutes early. Our friend Sonia came. As soon as she walked in, she greeted us. We had some hugs. We caught up for a bit, and then the restaurant owner walks out, greets her as well, and she gives him this like little snack gift that she got from her grandma. And I knew Sonia was connected. I didn't realize how connected. So the server comes up, greets us, takes us to our table, takes our order. We the three of us just kind of catch up a little bit, and a few minutes later we get our entrees, and it's every bit as delicious as we were hoping. We read all the reviews online, we'd seen YouTube videos, we had read about the menu, and it really met our expectations. But then a couple of minutes later, we got another entree, and we were excited. My wife and I, we're the kind of people where we'll tell a restaurant if we're out for our birthday or anniversary. We love that little like extra dessert at the end, that extra cake. And we were thrilled to be getting this other appetizer because let's face it, Indian restaurants don't really do that. And so we had not another appetizer, and then they brought another one, and they said this was all on the house, and we were a little surprised. This is a little bit we're my wife and I we're humble people. We don't really get this sort of treatment going out. And then a few minutes later, um, we we get our entrees, and then they give us another entree and another entree. And my wife and I, again, we're simple people. We don't like to waste food. We're feeling a little weird because it's delicious food. It's a very nice restaurant, like the kind of place we would only go to maybe once or twice in a year as a treat. And they're just stacking these plates on our table. And of course, we try a little bit of everything. And this is like you go to New York City, there is not very much space up there. So we're at this like really tiny table with a dozen plates just stuffed right in front of us. And we're like as quickly as we can, just like eating food from one plate and then moving on, eating food from another plate. It's like that conveyor belt episode from I Love Lucy. And we were just struggling to keep up, but so happy. And again, we're feeling a little funny about this because we're not used to this sort of treatment. And the our friend told us she's not supposed to do this, but she told us that she told the restaurant owner we were her cousins, and we're not really her cousins. and we just had just the best evening of food, but also ate way too much. And at the end, as soon as we were stuffed, they gave us 3 or 4 different desserts. We got a fruit salad, we got special butter, we got a curd thing, we got yogurt, and I have a big sweet tooth. I had to try a little bit of everything. And at the end of it, they I still feel awful saying this, they comped our bill, and we needless to say, we tipped very well. We were served very well, and we were not hungry the rest of the night, if you were worried. 4:45 dinner, it was like Thanksgiving 2.0. Food brings us together in a special way. It reminds us of memories we have as children. It reminds us of special moments in our lives, weddings, birthdays. Every restaurant owner of a fine dining establishment, their goal is to give every single customer a special experience, a once in a lifetime experience. And a lot of folks will say it's more important to them than the money, than popularity, than acclaim and awards. It's giving someone that new experience. And boy, did I have a story from Dhamaka. Thank you.